All About the Archers. I'm Philippa.
I'm Quentin.
And we're here to talk to you all about what's happened so far this week. We will be focusing particularly on the episodes of Sunday the 23rd, Monday the 24th, and tonight, Tuesday the 25th of March. You have been warned, there will be spoilers. Well, Q, thoughts?
Veil, I think, please, Philippa.
Yes, sorry. R.I.P. Constanza. There we go.
Oh, dear.
Let's just take a moment.
Yeah. Well, we didn't see that long coming. Bloat, eh? Bloat.
I know. Did you think? Because first of all, I thought, oh yes, she is dead, and then the way Alistair was talking,
Yes.
I thought, oh, she's not.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because my first note was Constanza not well, bloated stomach. Alistair reassures it was a quick death. So he got ratcheted up fairly quickly.
I wrote, my notes were R.I.P. Constanza. Oh, just too much grass. Quick
Yes.
cremation. Thought, what?
Yes.
That was very speedy.
Well, I thought llamas were designed to eat grass. That's what confuses me.
Too much though, and
Yes.
toxins.
Yeah, and poor old Salieri is now without his mum.
Yeah, and poor Khalil.
Khalil's convinced that he's to blame. Do you think he's told them everything that he gave Constanza?
Yes,
I so.
don't think. Yeah,
But
he's been through enough. He needs some stability and nice time.
Linda's very worried, but
I'm worried.
I don't think he's convinced by their reassurances. So he's obviously gone off to mull over all this, and he's not a happy bunny. If I can bring in another animal. Anyway, so somebody will tell us, how long has Constanza been a feature of Ambridge life? Quite a while.
Oh, yes. I feel like a long, long time.
Yeah.
But yes, I failed.
Sad.
I don't know her date of birth. I apologise.
Well,
I didn't think when I woke up this morning that remembering Constanza's date of birth was something I was going to fail at today. But I failed at it and I apologise.
it wasn't my first thought, I have to say.
Talking about failings, what's your view on Helen and her interview technique?
Yes, because obviously must talk Rochelle as well.
We will, don't worry.
Right, Helen, God. All right. Talk about entering an interview process with an open mind.
Yeah, it's a foregone conclusion.
It's a foregone conclusion.
I know.
And then they box themselves in by saying, well, we're going to go through a process, which is like a points process, right? So I thought, I'm going to talk to somebody who is an expert on this, Kate, who's a recently retired HR director, so she knows her onions.
Thank you, Kate.
I said to Kate, she listens to this podcast, I said, Kate, can you take in past experience and skills, even if the candidate is a gibbering wreck like Susan, who doesn't mention them during the course of the interview? So it's not a case of having to mention them. She says, absolutely, it's only fair. And she says, apart from the communication skill needed to tell visitors about the farm, an interview won't assess or show you anything other than people who are good at interviews. And that is where they have beached themselves, says Kate. Kate says Bridge Farm should use the new job description to clearly list the essential criteria and use those to create a rating scale, e.g. operational knowledge of hygiene regulations or knowing the most important stage in preparing yoghurt. But if they're neck and neck, then you could apply the length of service test or who is more reliable. And she finishes off by saying, here is the definitive ACAS list of examples of selection criteria where no interview is required at all. And the selection criteria are these: standard of work or performance skills, qualifications or expertise, attendance record, which must be accurate and not include absences relating to disability, pregnancy or maternity disciplinary record. So in essence, Pat and Helen have completely boxed themselves in by basing everything on an interview at which their foregone conclusion candidate went to pieces. Thank you. Thanks to Kate for giving me this. She bless her, Kate really started to do the research for me. So yes,
You know, well, that's wonderful to hear, and thank you, Kate.
Yeah.
I'm also thrilled at the fact that Helen has yet again delivered more sewage at Bridge Farm. I mean, you know, of all the questions to ask, you know, thinking about our viewing window, can you give
Yes.
us a bit of spiel about our history? Nobody uses the intercom apart from Helen in that viewing window. Nobody cares.
No.
Can you make a yoghurt? What's in a yoghurt? What goes into cheese? Those are your crucial things.
Precisely the questions that Kate was suggesting that should be asked. And you and I despair with Helen, particularly you. But for years, I've been trying to put my finger on what it is about that Helen tone that really, really grates. And finally, Nick on checkyoursheds.bsky.social has nailed it. He says the change in Helen's tone, the second she's confronted with making a decision about her own business, she's a monster. Possibly the worst person in Ambridge, worse than Natasha, Eddie even, because she's so very convinced of her own goodness and is affronted by any challenge. Nick has got it absolutely
Even when
spot
her
on.
mother, even when Pat timidly tried to challenge her, no, and Pat immediately retreats. I mean, we're all shouting job share at the radio, but if in the end that's what they do, I will be so cross, because we have gone through this pain, knowing at the outset that it should be a job share, and waiting till Friday. Could she just not make a decision?
Well, she's trying to obviously manufacture a way of making sure Susan gets the job, but on the basis of the interview, they can't give it to Susan. Talking of which, I thought Clary was magnificent.
Oh my goodness, Clary, you're in the wrong job. Clary needed the radio show,
I know.
not Susan.
I love it when Clary, we get it occasionally when she's just allowed to talk by herself calmly. And there was a woman who really knows about farming. You know, has been in the dairy for 30 years, since 1984, I think. It started in 1984. She knew all the back history, and she was proud to have been in the vanguard of organic farming. And I was really impressed by Clary, and they both had to concede she was brilliant.
Do you think Clary's ever had a latte before? Because she ended up calling it a latte and didn't seem entirely sure.
She corrected somebody, didn't she? Yeah. She corrected Emma, didn't she?
I don't know if Clary has ever had a latte.
But bless her, she didn't feel. She felt a bit shy about having a free latte, despite all the cleaning up she's been doing. Yeah.
On Friday, I didn't know if Helen was delaying the decision until Friday because it's National Weed Appreciation Day. So I didn't know if that was her reason for that. Probably not.
It's not in my diary, no.
Can I just say, she's going to have to make one of them redundant. Now, if we base it on Clary, not that I've been doing a bit of a deep dive on this, even if Clary is paid the living wage and does 15 hours a week, she has worked there for 30 years. I did think she had a break during the E. coli, but assuming not, 30 years, that means Helen needs to pay her the sum of £5,494.50. That's based on just 15 hours a week. Helen can't afford that. What is Helen thinking of?
Well, I mean, I'm going to my prediction. For goodness sake, by Friday, somebody in the village will say, how about a job share or reduced hours? So they can both still work there. We still get our nice scenes with Clary and Susan. I mean, I don't believe they're going to be split up myself, but so somebody will say reduced hours, and we can all get on with it. Nobody has suggested it. No one.
And could Clary actually find out that she does have a state pension? That's another thing that really grinds my gears at the moment.
Too, for goodness sake. But I mean, shock horror. Eddie put her first once. He actually said, "Are you okay? I think it's time for you to retire."
Yes.
What? He doesn't want to exploit Clary for once. So I was gobsmacked by that particular moment. Eddie suggesting she should retire, concerned for her welfare, which is rare. So it's all been a bit farcical, and they really have boxed themselves into a corner. Those two, haven't they? Particularly Helen.
Another thing this week was we seem to have nice Robert. Some weeks we've had nasty Robert. This week, very nice Robert. So
a question
just from last week, from Friday. am I right in assuming Martin Gibson is a shareholder in Borsetshire Water from the way he was reacting about the bell ringing?
Probably is. But again, that's an inconsistency because, of course, a few months ago he had that great epiphany, didn't he, with Justin, where he started to be nice, Martin, and saying we should value other things in life apart from money. And now he's completely turned, hasn't he? So that didn't last long. But I wouldn't be surprised. He's obviously got a stake, hasn't he, to be that angry.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
I was surprised they didn't ask him about that.
Yes.
But speaking about things we don't talk about, Rochelle.
Yeah, well, I think you say food there. Yeah, Rochelle. Rochelle is back.
Yes, put the kettle on.
She's a funny old cove, isn't she? I'm that line that finished this evening's episode. It's nice to have you back. Honestly, it's lovely. Pull the other one, Joy. I'm not convinced. She doesn't want her back. And clearly there's been no contact because Rochelle has no idea what happened with the sewage spill, doesn't understand why the whole house has been redecorated. And of course has had to move out of our house share, so something else has happened with Rochelle, hasn't it? And can I spend a few days here? I mean, as you know, I'm itching to know Joy's true backstories. Personally, I'm delighted Rochelle has returned. I mean, I know she's not a particularly popular character, and many people would like to see the back of her, Joy and Mick. But actually, for me, we have waited years to hear Joy's full backstory, and she is the only channel by which we will find out Joy's backstory. So hopefully we'll get it, and then Rochelle can move on. Are you pleased to see Rochelle back?
I don't know. It's because I like Joy, but Joy is usually this very outgoing, jovial person. But the minute Rochelle is there, and you would expect, the mother-daughter relationship to be warm, and there's a lot going on, and I'm not convinced it's all Rochelle's problem. I do think Joy is culpable in this, and that makes me sad that I don't have the Joy that I want. But if it's that or Helen, then fair enough, let's hear it. I don't want answers because I think it's going to harm my view on Joy.
Well, we have a right to know, Philippa. We have invested years of our life into this nonsense, so we need to know Joy's backstory. And I've always suspected it. You've got to be honest. I have been very consistent on this point, that all is not what it seems with Joy. Okay, everybody's moving house as well, moving back. I mean, Joy and Mick are moving back, and the Maliks have left Ambridge Hall, haven't they?
Yes, and Joy was very glad to leave the robot thingamy, and it was like this. Oh, Mick, when she went home. Oh, it's like a new home, she said. I just thought that was so long. It was lovely, and I do love this reference. I know it's a very British thing, but, should we put the kettle on? I just think it's
the answer to everything, isn't it, in Ambridge?
Yes.
No serious conversation can ever start before the kettle is put on. Well, what did you make of Susan just losing it, falling to bits in the interview? Was that convincing?
I think it was, because when they returned from lockdown, and they had to go again and practice. Susan had to practice and talk about what was going on in the dairy when people were at the viewing window. She lost it a bit then and couldn't, but in time she got back in the zone.
Yes.
So it didn't surprise me, but there we go.
I've got a prediction about that, but anyway, come to that later. Going back to Nice Robert, he's fighting Emma's corner, isn't he? He said to Mick, look,
yes, which was brilliant.
Retract, it was very foolish and reckless what you said. And Emma was sweet with Clary, saying, I'm very proud of you as a person. That was a touching scene, I thought. I think you're an amazing person, she told her. So we had some nice moments.
Talking of amazing things, Q, let me mention the food. So we've got delicious chocolates, lettuce, pumpkin seeds, cinnamon buns, cardamom buns, cake. And yes, thank you. Just go to YouTube to see what Quentin's hashtag is today. Because
it's not a rude word.
No, but it's
food related.
It is.
Hashtag brassicas, the emphasis on bra. Because, of course, we
Yes.
had the reference by Susan about the bra-burning radical that was Pat.
Oh, I like
Oh,
it.
you didn't get,
I
oh,
like
you,
it.
oh, you didn't get it. Is that why? I thought you'd pick up on that.
Now, I know
I'm
we're all
wasted.
desperate.
Wasted.
I know we're all desperate to go off and watch Harrison in Coronation Street
Oh,
tonight.
is that
And of course,
tonight?
Lillian was on Casualty on Saturday with the message of don't do your own dentistry work. I think her character brilliantly played. Who's your star of the week?
Clary.
Yes.
I was very impressed with the way she interviewed, and I love seeing that side of Clary when she's just being herself and not weighed down by the woes that Eddie bring her.
I was going to say Clary, but you said Clary, so I'll say Robert, because he was great with Emma, with Mick, with Linda, everybody. Who's your twit of the week?
Oh God, let me think. I'm seeing the letter H.
Yes.
It's her again.
It is. It's Helen.
Yes.
Predictions.
Well, I've given you one, haven't I? So the other one, which I've sort of borrowed but is doing the rounds, is that actually Susan deliberately screwed up the interview to make sure Clary got the job.
Oh.
Mm.
Well, there we go. That's very
I can't
interesting.
claim full ownership of that, but there's quite a few people who've come up with that.
Very good. Any other
Yeah.
predictions, or is that your...
That's it, because I told you about the job share
Yes.
reduction of hours, which is going to happen on Friday, and they will still make yogurts together.
Can't they just make Helen redundant?
Well, what does
Be
she
so
do?
much better.
What does she do?
Can they both go and work for Celia instead? I'd be much
I
happier.
think she's going to take over anyways, isn't she? Alfie?
Yes. My predictions Thursday, Emma will be allowed to remain as a parish councillor. I don't think that's a huge prediction. And my other prediction is the Beechwood house sale, Kirsty's house, will not close, will not proceed by the end of the month.
Really?
I just don't see it. The mortgage company are going to find out that Natasha's got all these extra credit cards.
Oh,
and...
good point. Another of my beefs. Yes.
Yes. I must apologise for the slight audio issue with our interview with the wonderful Annabelle, who plays Kirsty. Thank you for bearing with us for that. It was wonderful to talk to Annabelle.
It was, and it's well worth putting the effort in to listen to what she does say.
Yes. Absolutely. Please do follow and subscribe. We'd be very grateful, so you get notifications of when we arrive each week for you to listen and watch. Next week, I'll be on here on Tuesday with Lauren for more of our madness. Until then, it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.